Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Okay, I'm here. Hello. Whoa. Something just flew at the window. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's Murphy's Law this morning. Anything that can go wrong is going wrong. Hey, out to lunch. Hey, Deb. Hey, Alex. Hey, Shannon. Good to see you guys. Lucette, how you going? Okay, let's get into some news. Oh, I've got a cough. I'll get back on screen when I stop coughing, guys, because my whole face goes red right now. Hang on a sec. Every time I cough. Okay. One bad dude said this is exactly what should happen. A Pakistani. Oh my goodness. A Pakistani imam living in Italy for 30 years gave a fiery sermon. He said, every Muslim must fight the infidels or face catastrophic consequences. The next day, Italian PM Giorgia Meloni, okay, this lady here, made a bold move. She personally ordered his deportation. No waiting, no drama, just action. And I'm wondering if the mainstream pointed her in that light of showing her rolling her eyes and everything. She could have been responding to things that we didn't hear because that clip was so clipped. Okay, that's just my opinion. No one has to agree with me. Marine vet said this is Dan Caldwell. He was found to be the leaker at the Pentagon. God, he looks like a school child. Seriously. Wow, okay. Fred Paul said inflation is 2.2%. Yeah, sure. Do you want to know how much tomatoes are in Australia? Yep. It won't be the rent that sends me broke now. It's going to be the groceries. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm going to do. But hey, groceries just keep going up. Milk keeps going up. Cheese keeps going up. The butter that I was buying went from $6 to $8. How does that work? It was the cheapest butter. It's not the cheapest butter anymore. Oh my God. Yeah, I went and got a couple of groceries yesterday. Cat food, another thing. Used to be under $10. It's over now. Oh my God. Anyway, Queen Bee said, I don't think anyone at Glastonbury should be arrested or jailed for what they've said on stage, just as I don't believe following Southport anyone should be in jail for what they said on social media. But what's good as goose is good for the gander, and either there's punishment for incitement to violence for everyone or for no one. We can't pick and mix the law based on political opinion now. Okay, and that is for someone who was on stage, I believe, in Glastonbury, who said, you want to stop immigration or something, too bad, or get effed or something. Okay, I'm trying to find out the person because I did see it, but I didn't bookmark it, so shivers. I've seen the person who did it, and I've got a picture of him, but I don't have what he actually said. Hustle Bitch said, why does Stevie Wonder wear a watch? Can't see. Is it a Braille watch? No, it doesn't look like a Braille watch. No. There's a conspiracy theory that Stevie Wonder is not actually blind. Okay? It is a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Is it true? I don't know. But he's been shown taking pictures with a camera. If he's blind, how can he do that? Anyway. No New Year's Day to celebrate. Okay. LBRY sent an open letter to Jacinda Ardern. This is a good one. You told the world that fear is not a leadership strategy, sorry. You told us to be kind. You told us we were all in this together, but we weren't, and we still aren't. Jacinda, there's a special kind of cruelty in standing before the world projecting kindness, empathy and sensitivity while leaving behind a trail of broken lives, broken families and a broken country. And you can add this to any country and our leaders, okay? Mind you, everyone mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And anything mentioned here is a theory until proven fact. You talk a lot of compassion and on connection on the global stage, while here in New Zealand the damage from your rule still festers. Not in the headlines, not in press conferences, but in homes, in hearts, in hospital corridors, every single day. You did not lead with kindness, you led with fear, intentionally, repeatedly, systemically. And you had the nerve to call it unity. You created a country of the included and the exiled, and you made sure the exiled knew exactly what they were, the wrong kind of Kiwi. You did not lead a team of 5 million, you broke it apart. This is your legacy. While you travel the world earning millions telling curated tales of your empathetic leadership, the people you harmed are still here, struggling to walk, to work, to heal and to grieve. You cashed in, they're still paying. But it wasn't just a leadership failure, it was a moral collapse. Your government knew. You knew all about the risks, the life-threatening reactions, the emerging safety signals, but instead of pausing, you doubled down. You pushed forward not in the interest of public health, but in political optics. You needed compliance, you needed numbers, and so you silenced, mocked and punished those who got hurt and those who stood in your way. And now your legacy is this. A whole demographic of New Zealanders, young and old, who feel visceral reaction when they hear your voice. It isn't just distaste, it's physical vomit-inducing recoil. A tightening in the chest, a sudden exit from the room. You're on stage or screen, smiling and polished, but to those who live through the fear, division and mandates you imposed, your voice is a trigger. A reminder of the gaslighting, coercion and trauma. Many have turned off the TV and stopped listening to the radio entirely, but still you appear uninvited on social media feeds, in interviews and articles. You just won't leave us alone. This isn't collateral damage and it isn't unintended consequence. It's the inevitable result of cruel policies dressed up as compassion. You told us that being divided was being united, that staying silent was being kind, that following orders was being virtuous. You patted the public on the head like good little boys and girls obedient to mummy's rules. And those who disagreed? We were the river of filth, the selfish, the granny killers, the scum. You gave people permission to hate and they grabbed it with both hands. We have not forgotten and we're not going away. For more than 4 years, our inboxes have overflowed with heartbreaking stories, stories of people cast out, cast down, cast aside. They are our fuel. They're the reason we wake up each morning determined to reclaim our country, its decency, its fairness, its courage and its freedom. You may be celebrated abroad, but here at home, we remember the truth. And we make you this promise. You will be held to account, if not by the institutions too timid to confront you, then by the people whose lives you tore apart. The truth will not remain buried and your legacy will not be shaped by careful curated speeches from elite stages, but by the stories of ordinary Kiwis whose lives were broken under your watch. That's why we've launched The Face, the music campaign. It's time for answers, and now that you happen to be back in the country, we're doing everything we can to ensure you're made to appear before the Royal Commission of Inquiry. You must be questioned in public on the record about the decisions you made and the consequences we continue to endure. Anything less would be an insult to those still suffering. We are patient, we are determined, and we have truth on our side. Signed, Alia Bland, co-founder of Voices for Freedom and RCR. For the silenced, the scarred and the still standing. Oh, let's hope so. Let us hope so, guys. I would love to see our leaders held to account like that. So-called leaders. Morons, really. Cat Turd said, love this. A great man is hard on himself. A weak man is hard on others. Yeah, a great man will question himself and a weak man will just take it out on his family, on people around him. I've known people like that. Yeah, I'm glad I don't know them anymore. Anyway, Wide Awake Media said Nigel Farage, if we win the next election, we'll scrap net zero. There'll be no more asylum hotels. People who come here illegally will not be allowed to stay. We will scrap the DEI agenda. That would be great for England. Absolutely fantastic. President Lisa Trump said, are Australians laid back? No, I don't think so. This is hilarious and sadly true. Video Damon Power on Instagram, apparently. Okay, listen to this. This is quite interesting.
The thing I do think is funny about us as Australians is that we think we're laid back. We are not laid back. We are the most uptight people I've come across in any country. When I think of us as Australians, I think of us as rule followers. They're the rules, mate. There's a line, there's a permit. Where you going there? Don't go near the fence, mate. You can't go there. Where's your helmet? You need a fluoro vest. There'll be a fine, mate. There'll be a fine. Like I went to Brazil, and on the beach, it blew my mind because the beach was alive. People were singing and dancing. They had like a bonfire set up. People would come up to me offering me push-up competitions. People were giving me drinks, going, hey, man, come to this party, man. Imagine going up to an Australian on a beach, building a bonfire next to him. Come up to him dancing, going, hey, man, come dance with me, dude. Here's a drink, come party. They'd be like, what the fuck, mate? Mate, this is my bit. Your bit's over there. Also, you can't park there longer than 4 hours. You're not allowed to grow your grass above a certain length without council approval. If you own a small business, you need a certificate to go above a certain height. You can't swear in public, not allowed to smoke near buildings. Don't touch me. Other than that, we're laid back.
It'd be funny if it wasn't so sad. Oh, no. But it's true. He's right. Oh, my goodness. Australians used to be laid back, not anymore. A lot of them turned into Karens. I know, because when I walked through the shopping centre without a mask on, I got this guy. It was more than, not female. He was with his wife, obviously. But he gave me the dirtiest looks. Never seen such dirty looks. If looks could kill, I'd be dead by now. C3 said, reminder, these guys just disappeared. They were used to push the white supremacy scam created by the Biden admin. They still need to be fired, publicly shamed and prosecuted. We know they're feds. The masks and matching car keys need answers. Same as here in Australia with the white Nazis. White supremacists, sorry, Nazis. They all dress like feds, funnily enough. Who are these people? I would like to know. Okay, this is the POS that did it. Got on stage and said something like, you want immigrants out of your country? Well, F you or something. And he made the whole crowd chant it like they were like little NPCs. Make this POS lose every penny he's got. BBC was broadcasting live to millions of viewers. Even some people don't know who the hell he is. Okay. I want to know what he said. Bob Vylan's vocalist, Pascal Robinson Foster, got the crowd to chant death, death to the IDF. From the river to the sea, Palestine must be free. Will be, inshallah, it will be free. Okay, so that's what he got the crowd to chant. Great. He represents the global youth and the world street. He represents Islamists and Nazis. Okay, anyway, that's one way to propagandise, get the whole crowd to chant it. Okay, the opinionated black woman auntie said this roundabout, like, remember the roundabout I showed you the other day? The turnabout, as MRH said. It's not a roundabout. This roundabout, located in Sydney's southwest, was approached by Transport for New South Wales and a traffic committee, but its impractical design led to public and official backlash, with Liverpool Mayor Ned Manown admitting a lack of common sense in the decision-making process and promising design changes. Roundabout? No, I don't think so. Designed by someone with a uni degree, no doubt, and approved by someone with a uni degree. Remember this thing? Yeah, that's not a roundabout. And you have to do a 3-point turn if you're in a four-wheel drive ute truck thing to go round the bloody thing, and no one knows where they're turning, okay? This is chaos. This is an accident waiting to happen. Okay, just wanted to get that off my chest. Valerie said, couldn't have happened to a more deserving cartel. Big Pharma will collapse. Pfizer exec complains RFK Jr.'s vaccine autism report will open legal floodgates. I wonder why. Interesting. I'm not going to say anything. This one, I need to, it's illegal to actually cure something, and I'm going to bookmark that to the medical folder. Okay, Tara Bull said, breaking, Iranian Ayatollah issues a death fatwa against Trump for threatening Islamic leadership. Okay, there you go. Let's see what happens there. It's getting interesting. Rob Smith said, Julian Mann Grant, Australia's e-safety commissioner, exposed as a GARM stooge rigging ex-censorship. House Judiciary emails prove this American's vile plot to bury Trump posts. She's strangling free speech. Fire her and run her out of Oz now. Here's the link. Okay. How GARM's advertising cartel helped corporations collude with foreign governments to silence American speech. And that's why Julian Mann Grant, CIA MI6, I don't know what she is, should not even be an Australian government. No one elected her, except the government themselves. So, yeah, kick her out. That's what I reckon. Hopefully she's got nowhere to go. Craig Kelly, Foundation for Economics, said, what else could it possibly be? Camus shared this from the Sydney Morning Herald. Liver cancer rates are surging in Australia and climate change could be to blame. Does anyone else see a problem? I'm just asking. Yeah, no. No, thank you. I'm not buying what you're selling. Okay, Thriller the Gorilla said, trying to prove a point. Have you ever had to work more than 55 hours a week? A lot of people have. A lot of people do. Truck drivers, mate, you know, straight away. Truck drivers work more than 55 hours a week. And I'm sure there's a lot of other, put them in the comments if you can think of any. Any other industries that you will work more than 55 hours a week, because there's a lot of them. Okay, Ian Chance said in 1975, the Whitlam government here in Australia signed the UN Lima Declaration, through which the Australian government sold out Australian industries and workers by specifically agreeing to transfer manufacturing to third world countries, supposedly to help them develop. Nothing has changed for Labor. And I'd like to say Liberal aren't any better, okay? I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that. Naive. Now, that 55 hours a week thing, right? Naive said, study for 20 years, work for 40 years, free for 5 to 10 years, die. It's a scam. It should not be this way. It should definitely not be this way. Okay, Marko Matvikov said the new Melbourne Metro tunnel was originally scheduled to open today and cost $5.5 billion. Instead, we don't have a program for when it'll open, and it's forecasted to cost almost 3 times that amount now. That is what happens when the government gets involved. Yep, doctors and nurses, Timmy, definitely. Yep. Randy has worked 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Crazy. There you go. See, I was thinking that. And then if you work overtime, say you work overtime every day, and say you are in a factory or something, right, and you work overtime every day, you could end up working over 50 hours a week, 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day. Shift workers, I'm sure some shift workers work more than 50 hours, 55 hours a week as well. Definitely. Okay, Ben and Wine said Conor McGregor says he'll use the Irish military to immediately remove dangerous migrants if he becomes president this year. Thoughts? I didn't know that the Irish one was it's a president in Ireland. There you go. I didn't know that. Huh. Interesting. Maybe they should give him a go. Okay, Oz Integrity said breaking Australia e-Safety Commissioner. This woman is a thorn in everybody's side, in every country in the world, because she's still hanging on to the censorship. She's got a beef with Elon and Trump. Okay, breaking Australia e-Safety Commissioner caught red-handed, not only interfering in US politics, but conspired with foreign entities to influence Australians. This is treason, both to her own country and Australia. Time to extradite her, real Donald Trump. Please do.
Julian McGrath. Well, where does she come in? She needs no introduction. She is a very connected woman, born in America, who, for whatever reason, happens to have moved to Australia about 20 or so years ago. Although, unlike some of us, she didn't bring with her a robust commitment to the values of free speech and liberty that some of us others Americans who came to Australia did. Just, in fact, the opposite. Instead, in her role as the e-Safety Commissioner, or the e-Karen, and by the way, thanks to Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull, and former member for Bradfield, Paul Fletcher, for creating this office, she has used the excuse of hate speech and phrases like online harm to try to force the Australian government to censor what can and cannot be said online. Now, in the past, she has tried to do everything from block footage of a local Sydney Maronite bishop when he was being stabbed by a crazed attacker in the pulpit. Well, she tried to keep that from being online. She also whipped up a phony fear during the Voice campaign that Indigenous Australians would be abused online. And many people saw that as a specious attempt to crack down on Novo messaging. Oh, and of course, Julian McGrath has generally been a busy little bee trying to get platforms to take down anything she doesn't like through quote-unquote informal notices, including one trying to shut down Celine Baumgarten's post about whether or not a queer club at a Melbourne primary school was really such a hot idea. And you'll remember we had Celine, or Celine Against the Machine, as she likes to call herself, on this program just a few months ago. Well, now, where are we today? Thanks to this congressional report from the House Judiciary Committee, we have learned more about Inman Grant's activities, including her communications with the head of this advertising cartel I mentioned before, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, or GARM, which I can report has happily been shut down, but which, according to DailyWire.com, quote, used its control of the global advertising spending to bankrupt conservative publishers, was working with regulators in Europe and Australia to force Twitter, now X, to fall in line with its censorship demands, unquote. Shocking stuff, and the House Judiciary Committee report is pretty damning. Among other things, it found that, quote, GARM colluded with both advertisers and foreign regulators to pressure Twitter to comply with GARM's demands. The report went on, quote, in Australia, and here's where it gets interesting, in Australia, E-Safety Commissioner Julie Inman Grant relied on GARM to inform her engagement and regulatory decisions, highlighting GARM's significant collective power in helping to hold the platforms to account. And then there was this, again from the report, quote, in another message on an email thread, which I'll get to in a moment, GARM initiative lead and co-founder Robert Rakowitz stated that silencing President Trump was, quote, the main thing, likening the president's rhetoric to a contagion that must be contained, quote, to protect infection overall. Now, the strategy here, we can start to see it take shape. The strategy was to stifle Americans' ability, and remember, Americans have that precious First Amendment right, which we don't have in Australia. And the idea was to use platforms like Twitter or X, freely stop them from using them freely by using foreign governments, not American ones, to regulate their use globally, including the way they could be used inside the U.S. You see how this works? Now, helpfully, this House Judiciary report, it brings receipts. It contains an entire annex of threads of emails between GARM chief Rob Rakowitz and our own Julie Inman Grant, who reached out to GARM shortly after Elon Musk acquired Twitter. She reached out to Rakowitz and said, I believe GARM, this is Julie Inman Grant talking, has significant collective power in helping to hold the platforms to account, which of course is code for they can regulate and restrict free speech. Rakowitz wrote back, so lovely to hear from you. I am sharing documents in confidence about a, quote, major ongoing intervention, unquote, and adding, quote, it would be great to line up together around a shared agenda. Well, there you go. That is the agenda of throttling free speech, the agenda of stopping Donald Trump, the agenda of keeping people from being able to use Twitter the way Elon Musk wanted them to, i.e. freely. Then, all of this goes on. In a further email, Rakowitz reveals what this is really about, what the report mentioned before. And in it, this is the smoking gun. Rakowitz writes to Inman Grant, my main thing is I need to see Trump effectively sidelined because I am afraid the contagion is too widespread to protect infection overall. Well, there it is, folks, in black and white. And I tell you what this is all about and why this is so important. Shadowy officials and quote-unquote non-government initiatives in the U.S. funded by who knows whom, using things that sound really lovely like online safety and protection from harms, to interfere with the political process. That is, to shut down anything that may be harmful to the accepted left liberal narratives on Trump, climate, immigration, or whatever. And this really was trying to get people not to be able to say if they want to and share news about Trump. And the scary thing is, this report suggests that there may have been an Australian part of this headed by an American-born woman and created by a supposedly liberal center-right government to do it. Now, I tell you what, that is an explosive truth bomb.
Okay, and the infection they're talking about... the infection they're talking about is freedom and freedom of speech. Okay, just want to say hello, Lucette and Sherry, how you going? Who else have we got in here that I've missed? George, how you going? Stuart, how you going? Randy, yep. And Timmy, how you going, guys? Who else have we got in here that I didn't say hello to? Black Hat Music, how you going? Kai, how you going? Good to see you. Jim, how you going? Good to see you. And MRH, how you going? Good to see you. Okay, excellent. Okay. Now this. What's going on? Honest question. Which is true? Different eye. Okay, apparently a former Greens candidate, Hannes Thomas, released a photo of damage done to her face after an alleged assault by police at a Sydney protest against Israeli weapons manufacturers. Whoops, which eye was it? They're trying to say this is a mirror. Well, why would you mirror the image? Why would you do that? Huh? It doesn't make sense why you would do that. It's a different eye. But they said she's mirrored the image, okay? It's a mirrored selfie. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, my phone's throwing little things out left, right and centre. Here's something that might be relaxing. Jeremy Wayne Tate said, the first time I heard something like this, I was 22 and just happened to walk into a cathedral while in France. They were only practising and it literally stopped me in my tracks. It was like heaven opened up. How did Catholics trade this for what sounds like bad 70s music? Listen to this. This is just amazing. Okay, that was beautiful. That's like the angels singing, nearly. I just had to put that in there because this news is just so, stressy. But you got to remember we're watching a movie, guys. Until it affects you, then you go, oh, well, I can't avoid it now, can I? How you going, Susan? Good to see you. Craig Kelly said, so Canada cut migration and rents fell. What a surprise. Who'd have guessed that if you reduce demand, prices would fall? Every Labor, Greens and Teal politician that says nothing about Australia's skyrocketing migration rates is betraying their renters. These gutless cowards would rather renters suffer, driven into poverty through surging rents, than risk being seen as politically incorrect. If you're renting and you voted Labor, Greens or Teals, I'm sorry, but don't complain about the excessive rent you're paying. You're simply getting what you voted for. Yep. God help us all. The British Patriot said, breaking, it's happening. Thousands of British patriots just conquered London to oppose Pakistani rat gangs. With every minute passing, more and more people joined the march. Keir Starmer's days are numbered. There you go. Let's hope this gathers some breath. Okay. Lozzie B said, Crown witness in a case against a pedo ring found in a shallow grave. A 17-year-old from Sydney was scheduled to give evidence against a pedo ring 3 days after he went missing. Is anyone surprised? Let me see if I can play this. Okay, no. A 17-year-old from Sydney was scheduled to give evidence against a pedo ring before he went missing. Aaron James Light, in an undated copy photo, his skeleton was found in Sydenham with multiple stab wounds. Sydenham. There you go. Okay. And I put this in because here's another poem. Okay, people are coming up with some good ones lately. Australia, the world's new ruler. Australia stood up, puffed out its chest, decided the globe should be properly dressed. From TikTok bans to climate commands, we issued decrees with trembling hands. We told Elon off, said that's not free speech, then warned Meta, don't you dare breach. Tried to ban news, then begged them to pay. Turns out world empires don't run that way. We weighed in on Gaza, on Taiwan, on trade, told nations how their laws should be made. Demand the US explain their attack, and if we'd send troops to hold them back. As if we'd send troops to hold them back. Tried to police the world's online crime while our own banks launder in overtime. Laughed at Brexit, judged US votes while chasing our own with cashless notes. We claimed we could lead in energy change as blackouts grew across the range. Shut down coal but couldn't replace, so now we lecture with a straight face. We pass laws so complex they choke, then ask the UN to watch our woke. While cities decay and freedoms fall, we still think Canberra speaks for us all. So next time you hear that moral decree from the desk of Australian authority, remember the circus behind the curtain. We rule the world in our heads for certain. That was such a good poem. Oh my goodness. Except me stuffing it up a couple of times. Sorry, guys. Dr. Malouf said, I'm effing fuming. Just found out that London Mayor Sadiq Khan, under the Muslim housing plan, is building 40,000 new homes for Muslims only, to be near mosques and halal shops. Imagine if the British government announced free homes for non-Muslims or Christians only. Oh dear. That's probably why people are protesting. Dr. Helen Ingram said there's a protest march happening in London right now against grooming gangs, and there's a counter-protest. A counter-protest. Imagine being on a pro-grooming gangs protest. Can you just imagine it? Okay, C3. President Trump now calling Rand Fauci because Rand caught Fauci lying under oath and did nothing about it. Literally nothing. I wonder if Rand's relationship with China had anything to do with his inactivity. Trump calling out Rand is great. Yeah, Paul Rand. A lot of people think he's a good guy, and he's not. He's been known not to be for quite a few years. Sometimes even I agree with some of the things he says, but he's not a good guy. Libs of TikTok said Trump slams reporter asking about Canada after a historic peace deal was made between the Congo and Rwanda. We just ended a war that was going on for 30 years with 6 million people dead, so don't ask me a trade question on Canada. Let's have a listen.
Why not? Why not Canada, by the way?
Why? Because this is about a different subject right now. This is right now actually a much more important subject. We just ended a war that was going on for 30 years with 6 million people died, so don't ask me a trade question on Canada.
There you go. He's not there to talk about Canada. Okay, Ben Robson said government has created an economic environment that makes it more profitable to grow potatoes in Australia, freight them all the way to China for sorting and packaging, then freight them all the way back to Australia to be sold, just like it's gas, just like everything it does. Now look at this through the lens of Australian jobs, environmental impact, food safety and use of plastics versus if these potatoes were grown, processed and sold without leaving Australia. This is crazy. Matthew Kamanzuli said, tell me how it's good for the Australian economy to price our local packaging industry out of the market. How is it better for the environment to ship our potatoes to China only to have them shipped back in plastic bags? Product of Australia sorted in China. Why? What the fuck is wrong with them? Our government are seriously morons, man. Like, Okay. It's all right, Hev, breathe. Mick Amias said the 17-year-old African who murdered Dr. Ash Gordon was found guilty of murder. His co-offender who kicked Ash Gordon as he was tragically dying after the attack has already been released, talking of moving interstate, committing more crimes and then fleeing overseas. Can we finally admit we have a serious problem? Can we admit these people do not belong in our society? African thug who kicked dying Melbourne doctor after stabbing is already free. Okay, I don't trust doctors either, but you can't go around stabbing people, you idiot. Yeah, can we just deport these people who do this? Like, seriously. Yeah, I agree, Deb. It's a hard movie to watch, but it's more when it affects you directly, then you really have, like, a really hard time, you know? I've got to be careful now. I've got to be careful with every freaking thing I buy now. And I'm down to all the no-frills shit. And I don't like the no-frills shit because that normally has chemicals I don't want in it. But I'm forced to at the moment. I was doing good on the meat diet too, trying to get bread out of my diet, and that looks like that's going to go down the toilet because of affordability. It's insane. Old Soldier said Queensland government has shelved net zero targets and the planet is still spinning. Well, I wish the rest of our government would. Sorry, I'm having a real whinge today. Wall Street Ape said Joe Rogan calls out American bread. Our bread is we're fucking poisoned. People are not gluten intolerant, they're poison intolerant. Here's the breakdown. This is allegedly according to Joe Rogan, okay? I don't know, I got an email from YouTube too this morning that I was like, what the fuck? I apparently was not able to pin comments, but I managed to pin Alex's comment. Anyway, in America, what we call bread can't even be considered food in parts of Europe. See, here in America, it's not so much the gluten as what we've done to the grain. And now I believe this is in Australia too. About 200 years ago, we started stripping the bran and germ off, or the fibre and nutrients, to make flour shelf stable, also nutritionally dead. Because the nutrients were gone, we enriched it with folic acid, which is a large majority of the population can't even metabolise. Therefore, many people experience fatigue, anxiety, hyperactivity and inflammation. See, that's what I mean. This one here. Not eating bread for a few days and my inflammation seems to go down. But when the bread wasn't white enough, so they bleached it with chlorine gas. The bread didn't rise enough, so they added a carcinogen called potassium bromate, which is banned in several countries like Europe, the UK and even China. Then we wanted to ramp up production, so we started using glyphosate to dry the wheat out before harvest, causing endocrine disruption and damaging your gut. So now you're bloated, brain fogged, tired and blame gluten. But gluten is just a scapegoat. The real issue is ultra-processed, chemically altered, bleach bromated, fake vitamin-filled wheat soaked in glyphosate. This is not bread. I believe Australia's doing the same. Sorry, Jim, what was that? He was in that article Hev read. I think he attacked someone was released. Okay. X-Alert said breaking, radical Judge James Boasberg issues temporary restraining order to attempt to stop deportations of several individuals under the Aliens Enemies Act after the Supreme Court ruled that they can't do that. I guess Judge Bo Asperger, didn't get the memo from his bosses at SCOTUS. Dumbass. Just ignore the old bastard at this point. SCOTUS has ruled on the issue. Judicial overreach. Ignore it. He's irrelevant and sorry his dumbass restraining orders. He's not above the Supreme Court. What a clown. Ass clown. Oh, dear. Okay, Nick Sautor said just in, Attorney General Pam Bondi has just fired multiple prosecutors involved in the J6 cases per AP. More of this. These political persecutors ruined lives on behalf of the Democrat Party. Bondi told these prosecutors they were removed from federal service effective immediately, per letters seen by NBC. Good stuff, so they should. News Baron Trump, this is not Baron Trump himself, this is just news, someone using his name. Breaking GPS data places Zoran Mandani at Barack Obama's war room twice in just 6 weeks. Also present were individuals tied to the Muslim Brotherhood and 2 men believed to be Iranian MOIS operatives, likely connected to IRGC Unit 840. These same operatives previously met with Majid Fahani in Venezuela. I'm laughing at my pronunciation, okay? In June 2024, at the exact time intelligence suggests there were active discussions about a possible assassination attempt against President Trump. These aren't random meetings, these are calculated movements involving people who've already been linked to fake federal agents, impersonating DHS, US Marshals and more, like Irian Tazaradeh and Haider Ali, one with ties to Pakistani intelligence, the other Iranian. Obama's war room isn't fiction. It's located at 2446 Belmont Road, NW, just minutes from the Islamic Center of Washington, D.C. That's not a coincidence. That's proximity by design. The truth is this. Barack Obama is still the most powerful man in the Democratic Party, and he's not acting alone. He's running operations, and the media refuses to report a single detail. Ask yourself why. Carl Mehta said President Trump just hosted a press briefing at the White House. One by one, Trump and Pam Bondi delivered major announcements and clues on what's coming next directly to the American people. Here's everything you should know, and no joke, it gets crazier the further you read. The Supreme Court double victory. 2 massive 6-3 Supreme Court rulings announced simultaneously, nationwide injunctions effectively dead, parental rights restored in schools, but this was just the beginning of what Trump revealed. The immediate policy avalanche. Policies now moving forward without court interference. Birthright citizenship, 30-day countdown. Sanctuary city funding cuts. Refugee resettlement suspension. Federal transgender surgery funding stopped. The shocking district breakdown. Out of 94 total federal districts in America, just 5 Liberal districts issued 35 of the 40 nationwide injunctions, blocking Trump's agenda. 5 districts were controlling policy for 330 million Americans. The historic scale, Trump on the unprecedented judicial resistance, more nationwide injunctions than entire 20th century combined. Nearly 700 federal judges could previously block presidential policies. Policies tied up in courts for years. The parental rights victory. Todd Blanche on the second ruling. Parents can opt out of transgender ideologies in schools, restores parental rights to decide children's education, and no longer forced exposure to objectionable content. The strategic legal approach, how Trump's team won. Challenge injunction power itself, not underlying policies. Focused on separation of powers, not constitutional merits. Avoided fighting birthright citizenship directly. The terror gang numbers. Pam Bondi's enforcement update. 2,711 arrests of terrorists and gang members today. TDA MS-13 Sinaloa cartels targeted. HSI investigations ongoing. Violent criminals are the priority. A systematic abuse. Trump described the broken system. If any one of the nearly 700 federal judges disagreed with the policy of a duly elected president, he or she could block that policy from going into effect for many years. Democracy versus judicial tyranny. The constitutional restoration, Trump's framing, brings back the Constitution, restores separation of powers, opposite of power concentration, stops judicial branch from stealing executive authority. The green light forward. Trump explained the urgency. We have to act quickly when it comes to illegal immigration. We have murderers, killers, drug dealers, and the old system would take years to overturn wrong decisions. The American people voted for these policies. Why this all matters. This involves the timing problem we had. Nationwide injunctions used to tie up policies in courts for 2+ years. Presidents only have a 4-year term. By the time appeals are won, it was too late to implement. This ruling removes that delay completely. Thanks for reading. If you enjoyed this post, you can follow Carl Meta on X. Okay, and Defiant L's. We need another one of these. I do anyway. Top 8 hilarious comebacks that you want to see. It's a skill. Trans Diaries said, JK, how do you know a stranger is a man or a woman without forcing them to undress or undergo medical examination? JK Rowling said, I have a superpower called eyesight. Ratios. Fuck the world. Pramila Jayapal said, this is climate change. Retard Finder said it's called summer, retard. Oh, dear. Left no crumbs. Okay, Congresswoman Sarah someone, I'm heartbroken to learn of President Biden's diagnosis. President Biden has faced immense challenges throughout his life with resilience and grace. Really? I know he'll face this battle with the same strength and dignity. My prayers are with him, Dr. Biden and their entire family. Bad Hombre said, let this be a reminder routine prostate exams save lives. Make sure to schedule yours, Congressman. I got a cough. Is she calling Congresswoman Sarah someone? A man? I don't know. Highly recommend you follow Doge News. Okay, this is getting out of hand. African Americans for Trump. Trump is the blackest US president in history. Look at the colour. Gregory said, I guess orange really is the new black. He's darker than Obama. Okay, not too worried about the tattoos and nose rings. 1960s ladies, no tattoos, nose rings or green hair. Or penises, says Kill Ritual. Okay, sounds about right. Devon Little. There's a special place in hell reserved for cis women who terrorise trans women. If there was such a place, trans women would demand access so it wouldn't be reserved for long. Oh, Resist the Mainstream is another one, good one to follow. No Chill. New York Post. This 19-year-old is 2020's most beautiful woman in the world. Chameleon said, I beg to differ. Vincent said, you're going to be begging for a while. Hey, Paulie, how you doing? Good to see ya. Oh, dear. No side effects, you say. Karen Kay said, I've got 7 vaccinations and don't have any side effects. She's a meow, meow self. Samuel Fisher responded with, you have green hair and consider yourself a cat. You are the side effect. Oh, my God. Oh, that was a good one. I needed that. Oh, yeah, no, there's some in here I really don't want to show anyone. It's disgusting. But anyway, Rob Smith said here, hey, real Donald Trump, 99% of Aussies would back your intervention for a regime change down under. We're suffering under Albanese's oppressive communist rule. If you're in, DM me. I've got the coordinates to his bunker. Save Australia. Oh, this next one. Okay. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got a weak stomach, I don't know if you call it weak stomach. It's going to piss you off. Melinda Richards says, why do these Muslim boys dance like this for the men? I'm going to try and cut their faces off. Why? They're doing this for Muslim men, okay? This is what they do for Muslim men. I'm trying not to show their faces, but they all get on the ground and just, you know. Yeah, because Muslim men, there's another one. Diana Alastair said, this is Bakabazi, an Afghan custom which young boys dance for adult men. The practice carries a death penalty under Taliban rule, but this does little to stop it. These boys were sold to the highest bidder and then turned into slaves for you know what. There's something wrong with these people when you do this. I don't even know what they're doing. What are they doing? They just look like they have an epileptic fit on the floor. Oh, it's all the little ones going around collecting money. Dear God. Okay, and a sleep drug so effective it became public enemy number 1. Have I already got this on there? Bookmark, yep, to medical. Yes, that might be the other one. Yeah, Lucette, those dancing boys in Afghanistan make you cry, don't they? Okay, and the rest of it is... Okay, I've already done that. Okay. Where are we? Let's see how far back we can get. Alex said, my laptop broke yesterday, so I'm getting used to a new keyboard on a tablet, so I may make a few mistakes tonight till I get used to it. I've got steaks on the brain, don't mind me. Oh, dear. Shannon, g'day from the Riverland. You may doze off. You've just finished work and you didn't sleep yesterday. Oh, my goodness. Get some sleep, Shannon. It's very moist Adelaide, is it, Deb? Shannon said balmy army. Oh, because you're sweltering over there, sweltering in England, and apparently it's very humid in England and America at the moment. Lucette said, Yada Maloney, love her. Sherry said, good evening all, please say a prayer for me. I'm at my wit's end dealing with a lot right now, an abusive family member and my husky who's terrified of fireworks just re-broke my finger trying. Oh, Sherry. Prayers for you, Sherry. Okay, you guys are boiling over there. Sherry said, to escape his pen, my neighbours don't seem to know it's not the 4th of July yet. Oh, no. Deb said he's not blind, he's just got low vision. Lucette said, Bob Villan saying death to the IDF, also saying, so you want your country back, fuck you. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to find. And that's what I saw. So you want your country back, fuck you, he said. Yeah, well, we shouldn't get any more money from people. Lucette says, Stevie Wonder is blind in one eye and has some vision in the other eye. Okay, that makes sense. Deb said it's all for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, I don't know. I got this weird email, right, from YouTube. Let me see if I can read it to you. Where is it? Oh, great. Now I've got to find it. Okay. Wow, I've got another one. Can you go away? I don't want Google. Turn off smart features in workspace. When you turn this setting off, you'll no longer have... I don't want any. Turn off smart features and everything. Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. Okay, to keep our community safe, we limit some of our more powerful features to channels who've built and maintain a positive channel history or who have provided verification. I've already done that. As of now, your channel doesn't have sufficient channel history. It has lost access to advanced features. This may have happened because your channel did not follow our community guidelines. How this impacts your channel. You won't be able to do things like get higher daily limits for live streams, shorts and video uploads, embed live streams, pin comments, add external links to your videos descriptions. How to restore access. Build a positive channel history by following our community guidelines, or provide video or ID verification for quicker access. This may not be available for all channels. So, God knows, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay, I've got no idea. How you going, George? Everyone's sending Sherry prayers. Alex said, very true, weak men are bullies, yes. Deb said, we know the weak men are. We know, yeah. Yeah, Deb, too many Karens. Alex said, who's that bloke? Lucette said, but that Australian comedian could be talking about British people. I think it's happening everywhere. Yeah, well, everything I talk about can be, like, it's relevant whether you're in America, the UK, Canada, New Zealand, it doesn't matter where you're from. This is relevant to every country. Look at the E-Safety Commissioner. She's trying to stop free speech in America from Australia. What the fuck? Okay, George said the BBC are a joke. Yep, Stuart said, hello guys, global boiling tomorrow in Yorkshire, 30 degrees, then raining the rest of the week. Love you all. Good one, Stuart. Alex said lots of our comedians sold out during the pandemic. George said there was a lot of Palestinian flags in Glastonbury as well. Lucette said no Ukrainian flags at Glasgow. Ukraine is so yesterday. Yeah. See? They'll just drop one for another. It was masks first. Then it went to the pride flags. Then it went to the Ukrainian flags. Then it went to the, I don't know, pride flags again probably. Then it went to the Mexican flags. Palestinian flags. Then it went to the Mexican flags. And now it's the Iranian flags. Okay, they just go with whatever, whatever's trendy at the time. Yep, George said the lefties are crazy. Yes, Deb said yes, the problem is they have not made enough money out of us. It's all climate change problem. Yeah. Yeah, just blame everything on climate change. Had a heart attack? Blame climate change. Yep, Deb said doctors and nurses. Randy said I've worked 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Lucette said, George, their empathy is short-lived, lol. Alex said, yes, it's going to be very warm this week. It felt like being abroad earlier. Enjoy that sunshine. Just don't get too burnt. Yeah, Tim Air, doctors and nurses, administrative staff, yes. Yep, administration. I've done that. I have worked all day long on call before. I worked while being a single mum too. So, I mean, it was on and off, but I mostly worked until I got sick, and that was the end of me. George said, yeah, Lucette. Deb said, hello, our doctor in the house, Timmy. Yeah, I'm wondering if anyone wants to go to Rumble. I think I've got a lot on the medical side that I could read. If Timmy wants to join us, he's welcome. Otherwise, I might just read what I've got to get out of the way, because I've got a lot sitting in there right now. So I might even do that just to get it all out of the way. But I would love Tim Air's opinion on it. Deb said, sorry, I forgot admin. Hello, Randy. Lucette said, I stayed inside today because it was so hot outside. I do that all the time in winter and summer. Lucette, here in Australia, and half winter too. In fact, I spend most of my time inside my house. Oh, no. George said, going to be even hotter tomorrow, Lucette. Deb's laughing and said the IRA. Lucette said, Conor McGregor, does Ireland have a military? I didn't think they had an official military. I don't know. Black Hat Music, how you going? Lucette said, Deb, yes, I think Conor McGregor's talking about the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. Well, unless they can turn that thing right round and make sure it's fine from the inside out, I don't know. Deb said, dickhead. Oops, you can't say that anymore. George said, Starmer's won. Deb said, not that I know anything about the IRA. No, me neither, really. At one point, I thought they might be Yeah, I thought they might be fighting for Ireland, but no, they're just a terrorist organisation, as far as I know. And then one of their leader ended up running for government. Like, fucking what? MRH, how you going? Lucette said, Deb, I thought they disbanded about 20 years ago, but maybe not. Yeah, we left Ireland because of them. We used to live in Belfast. Right in the middle of it. Alex said, agree, George. He's more bothered about someone saying something at Glastonbury than he is about rape gangs. Hey, Jim, how you going? Deb said, you can't change your blood, Lucette. George said, yeah, I know Alex Starmer is a weak leader and Labor are bloody useless. Everyone's saying hello. Kai, how you going? Can't really chat. Cooking. Oh, have a nice cookout or cook-in. Deb said, stop us complaining about the dickhead government. Alex said, yeah, like those weak men Hev was speaking about earlier. George says, Starmer will be gone within a year. Yeah, I think Albo will be too. Lucette said, bossy yank woman goes abroad and starts pushing them around. Alex said, I forgot to add your name, George. Deb said, the camera change is fake. Deb said, healing frequency. Yes. Black Hat Music said, wow. Yeah, exactly. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Deb said, it's how we once got healing. Yep. Deb said, not the bloody church money making. Susan, how you going? Lucette said, Taverner's music as it's moving is as moving as this cathedral singing. If you like this music, you'll like Taverner. Oh, very nice. George said, I bet that's what heaven sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like angels singing. Deb said, singing bowls and the women singing along is very similar. Kai said, been depressed lately. Sorry, so quiet. I'm listening in though. Oh, well, it's good to see you, Kai. Lucette said, Kai, sorry to hear that. I was down in the dumps last week. Oh, look, we all get there, you know. Like, I'm feeling a little bit that way today. After, I'm just exhausted anyway, and then I get an email from YouTube that I don't even understand anymore. And, yeah, I don't understand YouTube. One day I'm just going to disappear off YouTube. Okay, what subjects do I have saved for Rumble? Let me have a look. Timmy just messaged me, so I'm going to... I've got to get that shit off my screen. Where am I? Just go back to the beginning. It's all up the top. Okay. What we've got to talk about on Rumble is going to be how it's illegal to cure certain things. A sleep drug so safe and effective it became enemy number one. And it is... what is it? Oh, what's happened? Have they been censored? Have they? No way. It was, oh, what was it? I said it the other day. GHB. Okay, we've got something that's got music behind it that I wanted to play. I wanted to play this as well on Patton Oswalt. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Dandelions, thyroid, acid reflux, some mRNA stuff, pets, and the procedures they have as well. More on that industry. Yeah, that sort of stuff. So if you want to join us over on Rumble, Timmy, and we can do that. We can go over the DMSO thing another time. Deb said, that's okay, Kai. We understand. Just know we're always thinking about you both. Yep. God love you. Yeah, Susan said, hugs Kai, same here, it comes and then thankfully goes for me. God bless you. Yeah, we all feel down at times, you know. I'm trying to keep my head up, no matter what. Kai said, Lee's up in September, so close yet so far. George said, nice poem. Deb said, Commonwealth Bank let people launder money. Now they scrutinise every penny going in and out and coming out of their bank now. Alex said, I couldn't stand it if Khan became Prime Minister. That would be the UK over. Deb said, I can hear chickens. Yes, they're all out the back. Lucette said, Alex, God, I hope he never is Prime Minister. Alex said, those counter-protests need to have their hard drives checked. How can anyone defend rape gangs? Disgusting. George said, Khan should not be the London mayor. He does not deserve that knighthood. Lucette said, Alex, they're probably saying it's all a wicked lie put out by Islamophobes. Deb said, it's a hard movie to watch. Yeah, I agree, Deb. It's a hard movie to live through. Alex said, I think I would have to move countries to one that protects their people, Lucette. Deb said, our potatoes are growing not far from here. Yeah, you can grow your own, guys. Jim said, I'm not related to Ash Gordon. Alex said, yeah, probably they always spin the story in the MSM. George said, if things get any worse, I'm off to American Embassy or something. Oh, I don't blame you guys. I feel for yous. Lucette said, Alex, I can't think of a country I'd want to move to. Deb said, thank God you'll be warm. Alex said, who is Ash Gordon, lol, Jim? Deb said, it's all for entertainment purposes only. Lucette said, Jim, but are you related to Flash Gordon, lol? Flash. Ah. I can't remember. Is it Saviour of the Universe or something like that? Jim said he was in that article Hev read. I think he attacked someone and was released. Oh, okay. George said, Jim knows Batman. Alex said, yeah, I know what you mean, Lucette. Lucette said, Jim, are you Commissioner Gordon? Alex said, Jim was saying he isn't related to Ash Gordon in the article you read. I asked him who it was. I must have missed the name when you read it. Yeah, it's like out of my head. I was wondering who it was too. Jim said, Lucette, they called me that in high school. I guess you could call me the Commissioner. Jim said, I'm in my bat cave, George. George said, does Batman know you have a bat cave, Jim? Deb said, excuse me while I spit my coffee out. Paulie, hi, Hev, hi there, young lady. How you going, Paulie? Good to see ya. Jim said, yeah, I'm supposed to be in the city government, huh? Everyone's saying hello. Alex said, you had to be living under a rock not to see there was something seriously wrong with Joe Biden. Yeah. Jim said, I keep that cave shuttered tightly. Deb said, no dicks in sight. Yeah. With the women? Yeah. Paulie said, Hev, did you just say penises? Yes, I did. Because we were looking at women from the, what was it, 70s and 80s? And they didn't have any women with penises back then. No, but there's lots of them now. Yeah, apparently. Oh, dear. Okay, Deb said it only works if Elbow is home. Alex said that's a well-known thing that they do that to the boys and they attack them. Grotesque. Yes, they do. Paulie said, hey, Alex, loving the mixes 100%. Keep them coming. Lucette says, those dancing boys in Afghanistan made me cry. They do, don't they? Paulie said, George, been a minute. I hope you and yours are well. Deb said it's not just very young girls. No, it's not. It's boys as well. George said, I'm good, thanks, Paulie. How are you? Alex said, thank you, Paulie. I need to think of some more. Lucette said, Deb, they abuse everyone. Deb said, Hev needs a steak fund next. Yeah, that'll be the next thing. I'll need a meat fund just to buy meat. This is ridiculous. Alex said, no, they prey on all children. Paulie said, Alex, I look forward to them. Kai said, much love, guys, and many blessings. Everyone got to go. Hopefully see you all tomorrow. Deb said, I love our Aussie Hev. Has really Australian birds and has real Australian birds in the background. Yes, I do. Tim S. said, sweltering in England is 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29 degrees Celsius. It was 39 degrees Celsius here and 7% humidity the other day. I was in Arizona last week and it was 46 degrees Celsius. Wow. Yeah, that's what Australia's like in summer. More of that, 39 to 46 degrees Celsius. You're lucky if you have a 29-degree Celsius day. Although we have had a lot lately, it's cooling down here. Lucette said, Alex, if we found out there are Muslim grooming gangs targeting white boys, I would not be surprised. Yep. Alex said, I'm really happy to hear that. I'm glad you enjoy them, Paulie. Good night, Kai. Be well. Tim said, the American West is very much yawning when England and European countries talk about a heat wave. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Australia's the same, except, well, where I live, it's a little bit cooler than down in Western Sydney, like a lot cooler, actually. And the last couple of years, since 2020, it has been cooling down. Deb said, toe the line or be cut. Deb said, getting hot out, Timmy. Alex said, I wouldn't be surprised either, Lucette. Alex said, good night, God bless, and see you soon. I hope you feel better. Love to you and Tony, Kai. Deb said, it's 13 degrees and moist. Menacing Muskrat said, I'm very late for a very important date. I'm late for a very important date. Deb said, always great to see you, Menacing Muskrat. Yes, it is good to see you. Deb said, the Guardia. Ah, that's the Irish, is it? The Irish Army? Alex said, I don't like it when it's muggy, which it has been again today. Yeah, I don't like mugginess. The humidity, I don't know, it kills me. Lucette said, Deb, isn't Guardia the police? They used to have an army in Ireland because the army used to patrol when the IRA were getting out of hand, where I was anyway. Deb said, my relative in the IRA. George said, Belfast, Northern Ireland have, yes. Yes, that's where I was born. Deb said, yes, I think police, Lucette. Menacing Muskrat said, well, we have Mark F. Carney, top globalist running Canada into the ground. I hope we're watching a movie, Hev. Yeah, I know. It's hard when you're living it, though. That's what I'm saying. It's hard, like, not just having it. Yeah. Deb said, yes, mum family came to Australia. They came from Belfast for a better life. There you go, see? We came here for a better life, away from the bomb scares that my mum personally had, actually. Sat up all night worrying about and didn't even wake my dad up. Menacing Muskrat said, I have the video of angels singing. Oh. Deb said, no wonder we end up watching cat videos. Yeah, that's right, Lucette, GHB. Deb said, funny animals and stupid people. George said, I watch funny cats and dog videos. Yeah, I do too. Cute ones and that. Deb said, shit, Karen's been here. Lucette said, hey, Hev, what did Patton Oswald say or do? More pro-pedo stuff? Yeah, just on what he's probably already done. I just wanted to show people in case they haven't seen it. Deb said, I hope the blood test results will help us find out what's wrong with him. It's been over a month of illness at 10:30 a.m. Oh, really? Oh. Menacing Muskrat has put angels singing in the video, in a link in there. Menacing Muskrat said, Carney's still presently running Canadistan. Deb said, Stormy, sorry. Deb said, I got married to Flash Gordon, Queen's music. Queen bridal music. Oh, okay. There you go. Deb said, Shannon slipped into sleep. Deb said, shit, how do you date? It's about like a lucky dip. Deb said, we have to adopt Hev. Alex said, blimey, you when it was 32 degrees Celsius here earlier. Menacing Muskrat said, if you want some great laughs, try the Vinyl Cafe. Stuart McLean. George said, Irish police have. Deb said, we need funny movie to watch. Timmer said, Hev said meat fund, and I went to the comments to check for Shannon's comments. And in England's defence, they don't have air conditioning like Americans do. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't have air conditioning here either, where I am. And 29 does feel hot to me even. Sometimes. Depends on the humidity, though. It feels hotter if it's humid. Deb said, yeah, just thinking aloud, Guardy, I'm shocked, but my phone could understand that. Lucette said, Hev, that might have been the British Army in Belfast. It could have been. It could have been. Alex said, I'm glad they turned that temperature back down to amber warning after trying to say that 20 was in the red danger zone. We aren't stupid, although they'd like to think we are. And Deb said, yes, I'm very worried. Alex said, oh, bless him, he works so hard, Deb. George said, according to my laptop, it is 20 degrees still in London at 1:19 a.m. and I hate those nights too, where it's humid overnight. Ugh, can't stand it. Anyway, guys, I think that'll be it for today. I think we're going to go over to Rumble to at least get some of that medical stuff out of the way, and then we can think about the DSMO, whatever, MSO, I don't know. Okay, guys, have a good morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. See you over on Rumble. Can someone put the Rumble link in the comments, please? Thank you, guys. Much love. See you there in about 10:15. Bye.